Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, welcome back, and I am so excited. I have an amazing guest coming up here in David Alison, who's joining me right now, all the way from Scotland. How cool is that? This man has put together this real successful coaching program using different modalities. I mean, he's worked for Tony Robbins. The guy's done so much. Hey, David, welcome.
Hey, Casey, thanks. It's great to be here. And good morning from Scotland. Good afternoon if you're in Scotland listening.
You said it was like 4 p.m. there or something?
At 4 p.m. It's just getting dark. I'm looking over the hills here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hey, super excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here because I want to learn about all the ways that you're helping people. Can you kind of just fill in the blanks for me? I was telling people just a little bit about you, but can you kind of tell people about your practice and a little bit about yourself before we get into our topics today?
Sure. So I'm 61 years old, just turned 61 last week. A father to two wonderful daughters and a granddaughter. And I wasn't always a coach. I've only been a coach for about 5 years professionally, but I've been a coach all my life. I was 35 years in the corporate world. And there's a little story I could tell you about my first boss who said, please. The thing of my life. But here I am. It's like I made a complete 180 in my life and in my career at the age of 55. And I've spent the last 5 years working with hundreds of people across thousands of sessions to help them have the quality of life that they're looking for.
And you were real affected and influenced by a coach. I guess you were playing ball or something this way when you were a kid?
Yeah, when I was 12 years old, I wanted to be a footballer. That's for Scottish people, soccer player for you guys over there.
Okay.
But that kind of stopped at 12. My father had some religious beliefs and he didn't think I should play on Sundays. But that was okay. That's what my father believed, and I've long since made peace with that.
Okay.
Because the beautiful thing is, it doesn't matter how old you are, the experiences that you have in life make you the man or woman that you are. And you can go through, and I've worked with some clients that have gone through some pretty horrendous things, and whatever happens to you in life makes you the man or the woman that you are. And you can choose to live in the emotion or the pain of those old experiences, or you can use them as a stepping stone to stand on them and move to a better life. And that's what I've done.
I see. So who's a good candidate to work with you?
Who are my dream clients are the clients I work with now. They're typically entrepreneurs. I've got a couple of clients. I've spoke to both of them today. One of them, they're both in their early 30s, both financially free, and they both want to make a difference in the world. I've got one young guy who I've worked with for a few years, and he's now developing AI software to help people with mental health.
Wow.
I've got another client who wants to disrupt the food delivery service. It's like he wants to take it way above what Uber and all these other people are doing with food delivery. And I've got a client here in Scotland whose prime mission in life is to restore and to maintain this beautiful nature that we have here in Scotland, not just in Scotland, but across the UK. So these are the type of people I work with.
Wow.
And what I do with them is this, and we talked about this just before we came on air. There's three things that shape the quality of your life. And I've worked with people that have been broken, homeless, and are bedridden to billionaires. And the same thing applies for anybody. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. There are three things that will shape your life.
Okay.
Number one is your beliefs about yourself, your environment, and the world. Number two is the emotions. What are the emotions that you live in every day? Are they negative ones or positive ones? And the third one is, the third one is your habits. What are those habits you've got? Are they those mental? And I don't just mean, hey, Casey, you run to the fridge at 10 p.m. at night and you have a pizza and a cold beer, right? it's what are those habits of language that you use? How often are you talking down about yourself? How often do you say, I wish, I hope, I try? What are your body habits? What do you feed yourself with every day?
I got you. Can we go back to number one?
Yeah.
Because I had a question um, about that. Um, what was the number one again?
Number one is your beliefs.
Your beliefs. Can you expand on that? Like your beliefs about um, how you see the world, how you see yourself. What do you mean?
Yeah. So we go through life and we behave in a certain way. And the thing is that when we're born, we don't have any beliefs. We have two fears in life: that what's loud noises and falling down. This is why a baby cries when it hears something fall on the floor, or mum tells it not to touch the pan because it's going to burn its hand. But the beliefs we have, we learn them from what we hear as children. What our parents say when we go to school, what our classmates say, what our friends say, and even into adulthood, we believe what we're told. People that watch the news believe what they're told. And we talked previously about my first boss at 16 said, "You'll never be a manager, son. You'll never make it in life. Go and collect the carts from the car park tomorrow." I believed that for 35 years, even when I was a manager, even when I got a master's degree,
Oh,
even when I landed that big corporate job, because those things were just ingrained in me. We believe what we hear. And what I do with my clients is I disrupt that pattern, because you're not your beliefs.
gotcha. Yeah. So you get your clients to challenge those things that we
Yeah.
heard at an early age that have affected us.
Well, not just your early age. There's beliefs you can hear now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use you in as example,
Okay.
Casey, to forgive me. Your
Sure.
boss could say, "Hey, Casey, that was the worst damn show I've ever heard in my life." And he could and he could fire you.
Uh-huh.
He's not going to do that because you're a cool guy.
Thank you.
You would go home that night and you think, "Man, am I really that bad?"
Right.
And you'd believe it because you're somebody in authority told you that.
I
And
see.
what I do is I help people. We get the treatment, and don't get me wrong, there are some beliefs that are great, because your beliefs are what made you the man and the woman you are today. But it's like you give that tree of life a shake, and the stuff that doesn't. It's like I look out the winter now. It's fall, as you call it. We call it autumn. I've got beautiful trees outside my house, and a month ago they were covered in the most glorious colors, and now all those leaves are on the floor. So, and that's what we do. That's what I do with my clients. We let those beliefs fall to the ground that don't serve you anymore, and we create new ones. And it's just like last year. This time last year, I got COVID and I nearly died.
Oh my
I,
God.
I come out of that experience being reset emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And what I have now is, it's almost like at 60 years old, I learned to become me again. So my beliefs are different. My physical body's different. Emotionally, I'm stronger. Your experiences in life are the ones that make you. So I now believe that happened to me because I'm meant to be doing something different. I know that I'm meant to be a coach, but I'm now going to be supporting men and mental health as well.
Wow. All right. Thanks for explaining that. Okay. And the number two.
Number two is our emotions. It's one of my favorite ones.
Why?
So our emotions, it's like our emotions dictate the quality of our life every day. It's like when you wake up in the morning and you put your foot on the bedroom floor, you can choose to be in an emotional state. Most people just get up. The first thing they do is they pick up their phone and they start scrolling through their phone and they see how wonderful everybody else's life is. And then they switch to the news and they see all this doom and gloom and fear. And then by the time they've gone down to make their first coffee, they're like, "Oh my goodness, what a..." So if you wake up in the morning and you don't pick up your phone and you take time to say, "Okay, how do I want to show up today? What emotion do I want to live in?" And the thing is, when you're in a low emotional state or vibration, it's like, so if you're feeling anxious or you're depressed, what you focus on You could be focusing on all the things that are not right with your life. And my old boss, Tony Robbins, used to say, what you focus on, you feel. And it's so true. When you focus on the things you don't have in life, you put your energy into that subconsciously. And the thing is, what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. And the work I do with clients is like, okay, there's lots that you've got to be grateful for. There's lots that you can do or be. But it comes down to those three things. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the world around you and your environment? If you believe, and I'll give you an example. We go back to beliefs quickly.
Okay.
I meet some clients and they go, oh, I'm ready for love and I'm going to meet the love of my life. And I go, wonderful. So then we come round to that wonderful thing called relationships. Well, all men are assholes and can't be trusted. And I'm going, hey, that's wonderful. So you're ready for love and you're going to meet the love of your life, but you believe all men are assholes and can't be trusted. So how's that going to work out?
Right. How's that going to work?
And then what you create there is you create, when people don't meet the love of their life, they get into a negative emotional state and they start telling themselves, oh man, this is never going to get better. And then that whole thing about language. So if you're in a high, if you're happy or you're focused or you're passionate, you're going to be focused on what's great about this experience that I'm living right now. And in that beautiful experience, you believe that anything's possible. Oh my goodness, this man is the love of my life. So you will behave accordingly to that level of emotion. And what I do with my clients there is I help them create the identity of somebody that they want to live in every day. And again, it takes muscle. You're building a new muscle of belief. You're building a new muscle of emotions. You're living in emotions that you don't normally live in. And then the third thing is the habits. Okay, you've now got an upgraded set of beliefs. You're living in a better emotional place. What are the habits that you need to put in place to sustain that?
Good and bad?
Well, you don't want to keep the bad habits, do you, Casey?
Of course not. No.
Well, what are those habits? And it's a bit like if you're an athlete. It's like athletes get up in the morning. A lot of them get up 5 a.m. They go to the track or the pool and do. But if they miss a day or they miss 2 days, then their performance soon get affected.
Right.
So it's not about making your life so controllable. It's like what the other thing I learned in the last year is like when you can learn to be in the flow with life. Life flows. It's like I'm looking outside now, it's getting dark, it's raining. I can't control the rain, but I can choose how I feel about it. So if you've got those habits, it's okay. I can be in life and life can be whatever meaning I give it. So I can choose to believe that I can have the life I want to live. I can choose to live in the emotional state I want to. And I can have those habits that make me smile every day and fill me with joy and fulfillment. Or I can do nothing and stay miserable. So what would you choose?
Oh, of course. But David, what if people have this goes back to, I guess, the second rule about emotion. What if people struggle with like anxiety or fear? Do you help them kind of like you were talking about as soon as you get up, not looking at the news, that might help things. How do you help someone who is in their head too much?
How do I help somebody that's in their head? Well, I take them from their head to their beautiful hearts. And I do that. And the thing is, what I've learned over the thousands of sessions is you just become more and more intuitive. And I'm quite a spiritual guy, so people believe in God or a higher power, whatever that is for you. And I have wonderful conversations with my mother about this. She calls it God, I call it the higher power universe. And for me, it's the same. There's something up there. So I help people get connected to what's inside them. And everybody, the thing is, and again, with these It's thousands of people always look for something outside to find. They look for love outside. They look for inner peace outside. They look for fulfillment outside.
To
All of
fix,
those things are inside you.
say they look outside to
Yeah.
fix what
Yeah.
they have.
I will be happy when.
I've heard that. Yes.
I will be loved when. I will be rich when.
Got it.
And I can do that. I'm trained in NLP. I'm a trained hypnotherapist. Sometimes I just meditate with my clients and bring them down into a place of complete relaxation. And I help them to connect whatever their higher power or belief is. And from that place, they then get the clarity that they're looking for. That's what my coach does with me. Because,
Gotcha.
yeah, sometimes, even though I'm a very experienced coach, I still get in my head some days.
Yeah.
Most people do. That's
Right.
how we're wired.
But now you have the education to know when you're getting stuck there and to get out of that and to get back to choosing how you're gonna.
Yeah. So what I've got is a toolkit that I developed over the years, and a big gratitude to Mr. Robbins for helping me in those 3 years. Those were the tools I learned to help my clients then, and I've created my own tools. I've learned from other great teachers here in Scotland and all over the world. I invest in myself all the time. I'm learning new skills, new talents, and I just bring that straight to my clients.
Gotcha. All right, I got
So
you. And
that,
David, can you talk to me a little bit about the importance of managing your mental health?
yeah, managing your mental health is like I talk to so many people and everybody wants to care for people. You want to care for your loved ones, and a lot of people end up overgiving. I talk to some people, and what do I mean by overgiving? I talked to one of my friends last night. She starts work at 8 in the morning and she finishes at 10 at night because she has this, and she's probably listened to this, so she'll be smiling. So, and what we end up doing is we put everybody else before ourselves.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I can say, and I've got a glass of water here for the people listening. I can give KC this glass of water. It's beautiful, fresh water. It's got a nice slice of lemon in it. I can say, hey, KC, drink this. And when KC's drunk it and I need a drink, I've got nothing to drink.
I see.
And what we do as humans, a lot of us, we have a tendency to look after others. And there's a great metaphor. You get on the airplane, and when they're reading you the safety announcement, in the event of an accident, please put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on anybody else. It's just the same in life. Right. I talked to a client last week. He's a trained diver. So he knows that when he's in that water, and he's a driving instructor, he knows when he's in that water, something happens. He needs to put that on himself. But he admitted that when he's in his own life, he doesn't do it. He looks after his wife, his kids, his mother, his father. And he neglects to put it on himself because that's what we do. So what I do with clients is I help them raise that awareness. It's like everything is energy. And if you keep giving and giving and giving without restoring your mind, your body, and if you like, your spirit, then eventually you'll burn out. And even some of my young entrepreneurs, one of them had a burnout last year because he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and giving and giving and giving.
Didn't take care of himself.
No. And he came back to me and he said, hey, I need to rebuild myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I do it every day. I make sure I have a minimum of 7 or 8 hours sleep every night. Because if I don't do that, I can't. I will wake up in the morning and I'll be a grumpy old guy. And I can't be a grumpy old guy when I'm going to go and work with
and
people
help other people. You got to be okay with you.
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. So what do you say to, and it was kind of what you said before about the woman that said they're ready to go find the love of their life, but all men, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the same thing where you got to be okay with yourself before you can be with anyone else. You got to be okay with this and not look for someone else to.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's like there's a friend goes around. There's a phrase goes around a lot nowadays called self-love.
Okay.
What actually is self-love? Self-love is making sure that you have enough water to drink, and you drink the water to give you energy before you go giving it to anybody else. And you can use that as a metaphor. So if you want to find the love of your life, if you don't make peace with the man or the woman that you look at in the mirror and you go, yeah, I'm comfortable in my own skin, I love who I am, then all you're going to do is take whatever story or pain or trauma that you've brought from another relationship into your next one. And I know what that's like. I did it. I've been married twice and divorced twice. And I've been single for 11 years. I've had a couple of relationships in 11 years. But I'm single because I know what I'm single because I've done the work on myself.
You enjoy your own company.
I'm happy with who I am. So one day there will be the next person that's going to share the rest of my life or some of it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm ready.
I got you because you're all right with you.
Yeah, because I'm okay with me. I'm happy with the guy I look at in the mirror. And I constantly drink the water. As you like guys like to say over in the States, you drink the Kool-Aid, right? So I drink the Kool-Aid of becoming a better man every day.
I got you.
Some days I'm brilliant at it. Other days I suck at it. But that's life.
Yeah.
And when I suck at it, I don't stay in that negative emotional state long because I thought, hey, David, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow you've got 5 clients that are wanting for you to support them in having the life that they want to live.
Got you. Yeah.
So I have to fill my cup every day.
I see. And a lot of us are just giving it away. That's a good candidate to work with you, right? Someone who is a pleaser, someone who was taking care of the other people,
Yeah.
not putting that mask on first.
And I think a lot of us are pleasers if we're really honest.
I'm sorry, one more time?
A lot of us are people pleasers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're the complete opposite, and the only person they please is himself.
Selfish
to the
people.
neglect of everybody else. So the ideal people to work with me are, I mean, I love to work with people that inspire me.
Yeah.
Like a couple of my clients now, like the young guy is like 5 years ago, he was an Uber driver. Now he's got a net worth of millions and he's creating AI software to help people with mental health.
That's awesome.
This guy, he's half my age and he inspires me. I love to be his coach and his guide.
That's great. That's a bright guy.
Yeah. And they're the people I work with one-to-one. I'm also just beginning to work with men, normal guys, truck drivers, bus drivers, anybody that's never even thought about personal health, but they having real struggles. And men don't talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been many times in your life, as there has been in mine, KC, where we've got stuff going on and I can't talk about this. I'm a man.
Right.
And we bury it and we bury it and we bury it, and eventually it explodes. And for some men, unfortunately, it explodes. 80% of suicides now are men across the world. It's incredible. And that's hugely down to the fact that men don't talk.
Right.
You don't know where to go. They don't want to be seen to be weak or vulnerable.
So true. That's so true. Yeah. Well, hey, David, you are an awesome guest. I can't wait to hear what you have to say next. But my grandmother, when I was a kid, used to say, when she wanted to hear from me, she said, Casey, you have the floor. So, David, I want you to have the floor. Please. As my grandmother would say, you got it.
Yeah, well, my grandmother used to say to me, what's for you won't go by you.
She said, what was that again?
Yeah, it's a very Scottish thing. What's for you won't go by you.
What's for you won't go by you. Okay.
So what that means is like whatever's, and I talked about it earlier, life is a flow. And we just get in the way of life sometimes. So my encouragement to your viewers, to your listeners, and this is one of my favorite sayings ever, be bold enough to use your voice. Be brave enough to listen to your heart, and be strong enough to live the life you've always imagined.
Love that. That's good. David, how do we get a hold of you?
So you can find me on Facebook, David Allison. I'm the guy with the smiley face on the mountains behind me, my beloved Highlands of Scotland. You can find me on my website, davidgallison.com. You can find me on Instagram, David Allison Coaching, and you'll get me on Messenger. And all you got to do is reach out, and I'll respond.
Awesome. Hey, you and your family, I want you to have a great Thanksgiving, and can't wait to talk to you again. David, thank you so
me
much.
too, Casey. Thanks so much for today.
All right. And everyone else, we'll be right back. Stay right there. Thanks, David.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.